and speaking of Jeannie Mae, and the real, someone else was recently on the real, and it was under some very, very serious circumstances. It is a woman known as Jennifer Hough. She accused Nicki Minaj's husband
Kenneth
of
Petty.
yes, of sexual violence. This was back in 1996, and since then she has been bribed by Nicki by from claims of $20,000 all the way to claims of $500,000. But then has also at the same time now been threatened that money that was going to be used to give to her is now being put on her head, according to her. And she talked about all of this on the real, right? And so, T, what are your thoughts about this particular topic?
Yeah, bro. I think that this one was much more heavy, right? And let me actually clarify. Like, Kenneth Petty was convicted of first degree rape in 1995, I believe. I think the incident happened in 1994 where he raped her at knife point. And he was convicted of that in 1995, and they were both 16. So I think the implications and why this still exists is that it has caused further problems for Nicki Minaj and their family, right? Like, he had to get a special like permit signed to be in the room where she was delivering their child, because he's not allowed to be around kids. Like, that's against his violation. He has to register as a sex offender, and he has to notify his neighbors. So hearing that Nicki Minaj's party, so I mean, it came through her, and she's had direct communication with Jennifer Hough, but like her team, and that they've attempted to continue to bribe, and once those bribes have not gone through, have escalated to threaten, it gets scary, right? Because it's like, this is why we time and time again have talked about survivors on our show. As cishet Black men, I think that we have an obligation to hold ourselves accountable and our community accountable to protecting Black women in these ways. And I think that these are the reasons we have to talk about it, because when we don't talk about it, this is what happens. And I think a lot of people were like, oh, she just out for clout, she just trying to get some money, and that's why she talking now. And it's like, no, she's probably talking now because her life is in danger. And if people didn't know about this, she could really disappear and we would have never known, right? And I think that like it, bro, I don't know, it really, I can't even find the words for it right now. And I think that that's the worst part. It's like, that's how vile it is. And I understand how reckless Nicki Minaj's fan base can be, the Barbs, how they really ride for her. But I think that we really have to, I think that this decade has been a year of holding these people that we feel so untouchable accountable. And I think that there's a real awakening happening in our society. So those are my first like my initial thoughts. But what about you?
Yeah, I think something, and people have been talking about Karen Civil and all this stuff that she does, and I wanted to bring up something that this media guy named DJ Academic said about Karen Silva, especially as it relates to Nicki Minaj. He said that Karen Civil is sort of like the hitman, or the hit person, basically covering up these artists' dirty secrets. And she has been known to work with Nicki Minaj. I'm not saying that she's behind any threats that Jennifer Hough has received or anything like that. But, we were looking at, or I attempted to look at a Twitter video about what was going on in this Jennifer Hough interview, and it was taken down from the Twitter site. And, it's people like a Karen who say, hey, look, this interview can't see the light of day, or it can't continue to see the light of day. And so it's just this narrative of, even when you speak out, you're going against a machine and an engine that is built to silence you and to intimidate you. And so my thing with Nicki is like, all right, like, and this is going to sound very toxic and problematic, so I apologize. Like, it is, but like, you married a convicted rapist. You had to know his history, and you chose to marry this person. Now, mind you, you can't help who you fall in love with, but it's like, but it's
different.
Look, or like you can choose You can choose who you build a relationship with or you go after. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she said, I love this man. He's the love of my life. And I'm going to choose to build a relationship with him, which it seems like she did.
Yeah.
But it's like, you can't blame you. That's like me driving drunk and, accidentally killing somebody and me having to live without a license for the rest of my life. And then my family trying to intimidate the family of the person of their dead, the family members of the dead person that I killed, and say, hey, look, come to court, recant your statement, speak on how much I've grown. And it's just like, that's not their responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not this woman's responsibility who's been sexually assaulted to try to make amends or try to do anything to make the life of her rapist easier. I can forgive and not forget. Just because I forgive you, or just because I've moved on, doesn't mean we cool. It goes back to wanting someone to live their life without you, right? It's like, I don't, in this situation, the young woman has a right to be like, I don't care if you ever eat again. I just want you all the way away from me. Don't talk to me. Don't do anything. You've traumatized me in my life. I have to live with that forever. And you get to go on and try to be happy with your child. And now you want to come back into my life and traumatize me. And now your wife is helping in on that, right? And so it's sort of like, wow, as another black woman, as a black woman who probably inspires a lot of other black women, I just don't see why Nicki is attacking this woman in this way. And like, if she doesn't accept the bribes, fine, let it go. Like, there are so many people who have way less resources than you, who are also married or have children with sex offenders, with convicted rapists, but they'll never live the type of lifestyle that you and your husband do. So it's like, you got to let this go, Nicki. You got to let this go. Cause now if something happens to this woman, everyone has their eyes on you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it's already unfortunate enough. I think her brother had some sex offender charges as well, if I'm not mistaken. And so it's just like, Nicki, I don't know what it is about you and the people around you. Of course, you can't help your brother's situation, but like, you chose to be with this man. Deal with his baggage. Deal with his baggage. That's on you, baby. No. And like I said, T, we go back to red flags. I could never date a woman who was a convicted rapist or sex offender. I got a certain lifestyle I want to live. I want her to be like, we can't do that. But people know this. I'm sure she had people in her ear telling her, hey, Nick, are you sure you want to do this? Like, you're Nicki Minaj. You can't just be around anybody. You can't just have anybody in your sphere and your space. But she chose to marry this man and to have a permanent connection to him and this kid. And Nicki, you got to eat that. It's okay if you love the man, deal with the man. But what you can't do is expect something like that. Because I guarantee you this: if someone hurt Nicki Minaj's child and then came to Nicki talking about, hey, the lifestyle of my loved one who hurt your child is rough, recant your statement, Nicki might put something on their head too. Like, what are you talking about? Because, in my opinion, this man who's out here raping people, I don't care if he's 16, 15, 10, like, you are lucky to be alive. You know what I'm saying? Thank God you're alive. Thank God you're not in jail no more. Like, these people are not grateful. They're not grateful. So it's just a lot to take in. Like you said, it's despicable. I'm disgusted. And honestly, if something happens to Jennifer Hough, put Nicki beneath the jail. Like, honestly, because we don't. You said what?
And God forbid that. Like, we don't wish that. Like,
right? Yeah. Knock on wood. Yeah. But it's just like, we can't continue threatening the victims for the survivors for something your peoples did. Like, get out of here. As another black woman, come on now. Just it's despicable. But man, what else? What else, man? What else you thinking?
I guess I'm just thinking, like, just like you said, like, that's the bed that Nicki Minaj made and she has to lay in it. I feel that same way with him, right? It's like, he did this, and you were 16, and maybe you've grown as a person, but if you've truly grown as a person, you got to lie in that, and that will continue to define you, and you have to do so much so much to shed that. And I don't know if people will ever forgive you, and they don't necessarily have to, right? But if you truly have moved on from this situation and you've grown and you've done the spiritual work that like you need to be a better person, you would not be out here bribing this woman. You wouldn't be out here threatening this woman. You wouldn't allow that to happen to anybody, right? So it's like, and it's not like it's up for debate. Like, no, nigga, you were convicted, bro, by the court of law. And don't get me wrong, I understand the justice system be missing this shit, but like, we're gonna believe survivors on this show. So
Yeah.
I think that like that's all that needs to be said, is that like, bro, like if you know you did it, like it's out there, like you have to live with that. And if these are the repercussions that you have to suffer for the rest of your life because of what you did as a 16-year-old, you have to be man enough to accept that.
Right. And I love the point you made, bro. Like any real man, you know, and I don't even like to say real man, any real adult. Yeah. Any real adult, any real person, you would never let someone that you hurt get threatened or intimidated even more. Like he should be going up to Nicki and be like, hey, babe, like, nah, that's not what we do. That's not what we stand for. Like, I did that shit. I'm an adult. I did that when I was a kid. I gotta live with that. I gotta eat that. Don't bring this woman back into it. Like, and you know, he's supposed to be a tough guy, a gangster. Like, who out here intimidating women for something that you actually did and got convicted for? That's weak. That's weak. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand it. Like he shouldn't want, because, and they're not even using their you know, their thinking caps. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're Nicki Minaj. You can't be out here threatening people, because that stuff can't come back to bite you. All it takes is a real Joe Schmo that has real text, that has an audio message, and that could be your career. So it's just like,
well, also what I would say though is like, and let's be very explicit. Like, you talking about like we were trying to watch it on Twitter, but like it wasn't just no random Joe Schmo Twitter account. This was the real. Like, this is a national broadcasted show. It might not be on like ABC or whatever, like the top network is, but like they funded, they got money. Like, they not no chumps. They not like, I don't know, they ain't no local show. Like, this is some real shit. So if they have had to delete these videos, it's like Nicki Minaj has that many resources. And that's the scariest part, is that like we can see this all coming and she still really might pull this shit off. And like, that's ridiculous. I think that more than anything is truly ridiculous, that someone that is clearly in the wrong could pull a plug on something like that.
Yeah.
After this woman gave her heart and soul in this interview. Right.
And I want to go back to a point that you made, T, you know, because, you know, I think that men, look, I've done some stuff this year in regards to women that, like, women have a right to be mad at me for and not forgive me for. It wasn't anything nearly as crazy as sexual violence, but like, there are a lot of minute things that I've done regarding women. And I'm like, you have the right to never want to speak to me again. And I got to eat that. Like, but like, let's say any of this stuff comes to light or comes out or whatever, like Brewin Black gets super big and popping, and then someone says, well, I had this experience with Ashley. He's a jerk. He's da-da-da. I got to eat that. And when the media comes and attacks her, when my fans come and attack her, I got to say, hey, y'all cool down. We don't do that. Yeah. We're not attacking this woman. You know what I'm saying? I was a jerk. I didn't handle myself properly. I didn't communicate properly. I did do X, Y, and Z. Like, I'm eating that. Don't y'all dare attack her. And that's what men have to do. We have to be like, yo, I did this. I'm going to eat it. I'm grown. I'm going to eat it. But we're not going to attack this woman again, because she wasn't in the wrong the first time. But a lot of people aren't ready to have that conversation with themselves and step up like that. Because a lot of y'all out there, you know, y'all are either cowards or y'all supporting cowards. And we got to stop being cowardly in that regard. You got to eat that. Everything is coming back on you. Everything you've done is coming back on you in some way, shape, or form. So learn how to eat it now. You know what I'm saying? Because other people shouldn't be suffering like this.
Big thanks.
Yeah, man. But I want to say, you know, Jennifer, we support you. We have love for you. And, you know, as long as we got a platform and a voice, you know, we're going to be speaking up on this, because you were in the right. You should have never been attacked, but you also shouldn't have to go through re-victimization of being intimidated and bribed to forget. yes, yes, to be silenced. And so because there's so many women who share that narrative.